Welcome to our video on 10 myths about climate activism that are completely false. Today, we'll be debunking some common misconceptions that often obscure the critical truths about climate change and its impact on our planet. From the belief that global warming isn't real because of a cold day, to the idea that renewable energy is too costly, we'll tackle these myths head-on, providing you with the facts you need to understand the climate crisis better. Join us as we separate fact from fiction in the ongoing conversation about climate activism. 1. The Earth's climate has always changed. It's true that Earth's climate has experienced changes over its 4.5 billion year history. However, the swift warming we're witnessing now is not a natural cycle. Changes that typically unfold over hundreds of thousands of years are happening in mere decades. Global temperatures are at their highest since records began, with the 10 warmest years occurring since 2014. The current climate change is anthropogenic, meaning it's driven by human activities like burning fossil fuels and deforestation. It's essential to understand that when people discuss climate change today, they're referring to this human-induced change. 2. Global warming isn't real as it's still cold. Global warming is raising Earth's average surface temperature, impacting climate systems. This leads to more frequent and severe extreme weather events, including intense droughts and hurricanes. Surprisingly, it can also result in severe cold weather events. The distinction between weather and climate is crucial here. Weather refers to short-term atmospheric changes, while climate covers longer periods. Hence, cold snaps can still occur despite overall warming. Natural seasonal variations also persist, meaning winters will still feel cooler than summers. 3. Heat waves and wildfires have nothing to do with climate change. Climate change is a significant driver of extreme weather events like heat waves, wildfires, and floods. Since the 1950s, extreme heat waves have increased, primarily due to human-induced climate change. Warmer and drier conditions create more fuel for wildfires, allowing them to spread rapidly. Moreover, the global wildfire season is lengthening due to higher temperatures and prolonged droughts. Wildfires pose immediate threats to life and ecosystems and pollute air, water, and land. 4. China is mostly responsible for climate change. Blaming China solely for climate change oversimplifies a complex issue. Western countries have historically contributed significantly to carbon emissions over the past 200 years. Many products consumed in Western countries are manufactured in China, effectively transferring emissions to production countries. While China's emissions are high, its per capita emissions are lower than some countries like the United States. China is investing heavily in renewable energy, driven by the demand for cleaner energy and the need to combat air pollution. 5. Plants need carbon dioxide. Plants do require carbon dioxide, CO2, for survival, and they play a crucial role in absorbing CO2 from the atmosphere. However, there's a limit to how much CO2 they can absorb, and deforestation is reducing this capacity. The problem isn't CO2 itself but the excessive levels produced by human activities. Current CO2 levels haven't been seen in the atmosphere for 3 million years. It's essential to address this imbalance to ensure a healthier planet. 6. Animals will adapt to climate change. While some species can adapt to climate change, it's not universal. Species face two options: move or adapt, but the rapid pace of climate change makes adaptation challenging for many. Habitat destruction further complicates their ability to move. Some species have shown adaptation, but many struggle to keep up with changing environments. For those unable to adapt or relocate, the future is uncertain. 7. Polar bear numbers are increasing. Contrary to this myth, climate change poses a severe threat to polar bears. The Arctic is warming at a rate 4 times faster than the global average, causing sea ice to melt earlier and form later. This affects polar bears' ability to access land for denning and sea ice for feeding. Their primary prey, seals, are also impacted by climate change. Some Arctic regions see polar bears struggling to find enough food, leading to predicted population declines of 30% by mid-century. 8. Renewable energy is more expensive. The belief that renewable energy is costly is misleading. Solar and wind power are now the cheapest sources of electricity, surpassing nuclear and fossil fuels. Some estimates suggest renewables can be up to 9 times cheaper than gas. The rapid decline in renewable energy costs has surprised many, yet some governments continue to support fossil fuels. Addressing climate change and the cost of living crisis requires transitioning to affordable, clean energy. 9. Renewable energy can only work when it's not cloudy or windy. The energy industry is advancing methods to store electricity and manage demand during peak times. This means renewable energy can be reliable even when the sun isn't shining or the wind isn't blowing. Many homes receive electricity from the national grid, and clean energy suppliers ensure renewable energy is fed back into the grid. This helps clean up energy supplies and make renewable energy a viable option. 10. Climate change is a future problem. There's no excuse for inaction on climate change, as it's already impacting global food supplies, migration, conflict, and disease. Human-made climate change is the most significant crisis of our time, threatening the planet's future. We're the last generation with the opportunity to make a difference. In 2015, 196 countries signed the Paris Agreement to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. The UK aims to reduce carbon emissions by 68% by 2030 and achieve net zero by 2050. Immediate action is crucial to achieving these goals.